I think we're set. There he is. And we will unmute him. What's
Oh,
up, Joe?
not much. How you doing? Merry
I'm doing
Christmas.
well. Same to you. Same to you.
Thank you.
So, I've seen your comments. You shared a little bit of your story there the other day in the group. I thought it was really powerful. So yeah, I'm glad to see you here tonight, man. And
Me too.
I will turn it over to you. You've got about 20 minutes. I'll put the timer on. If you go a bit
Okay.
long, it's all right. If you're done early, it's all right too. All right?
Very good.
All right. Take her
Thank you.
away. Yep.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Come on, you can do this. You got this.
It's all good, man.
Aw, it's all good. Start a year ago.
Wow. I knew it was going to be tough.
Oh, you got this.
Mind you, the last 14 years or 13 years hasn't been that easy. So this shouldn't be that difficult. This should be a lot easier for me. On the 12th of December last year, I woke up on a slab in the general hospital.
Keep going. You got this.
Take your time, man. If you need a minute, that's cool.
Wow.
You'll be okay.
I don't mind talking about it. That's what's odd about this is that it just gets it really tears at me.
Yeah.
I got really lucky. I found a group of people, I guess, that were in the ER that day that just weren't going to give up.
You'll be okay.
Sorry, everybody. Jeez, this is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. At any rate, they managed to bring me back around, and when I got off the table, I think I was angry because somebody just ruined my eye. But I didn't know where I was, so I didn't have anybody to holler at or say anything to. And a nurse came in and she said to me, I said, "What's going on? Why would they cut my clothes off? Right? They cut your jacket off. They got to get to your chest because they're trying to save your life." Sorry. She says, I said, like, what's going on? Why would you guys cut my coat off? It's like 40 below because it was cold. It was, I don't know, about minus 25 or maybe minus 30 or something like that. Now I've got no coat, no shirt, no nothing. And the young lady looks at me and she says, and she reading off a chart. She says, "Unresponsive male." Then it dawned on me what had happened. So I just happened to be lucky. I think I was in the right area of the city, and I was with the right kind of person that knew. Like, I mean, some horrible shit happens to people in this game. They get left behind or what have you. But yeah, she made it to the hospital. She got me out there. She got me into the hospital quick enough. I guess somehow I don't know how it all happened, but when I come around and I had asked, like, talking about why they'd cut my clothes off, and I just looked at the nurse and I said, "Well, if I ever come in that shape again, you go ahead and cut off whatever you need," because then I realized. I'm one of the lucky ones, I guess. I've met some wonderful.
Take your time. You got this, brother.
I've met some really nice ladies that have unfortunately lost their kids to this, and to think I would have done that to my mom. Well, at any rate, I guess we're going to get on with the rest of the story here. It started, like I said, about 13 or 14 years ago, and I never thought I was ever going to be in this position. I never thought I would ever be. I mean, I always had an addictive behavior. I was an alcoholic for years. I haven't had a drink in about 28 years. So, but I still today am an alcoholic, which is in 20 years from now, I'll be saying I'm still today an addict because that's what we live with. And I think it's a great reminder for me what happened to me on the 12th day of December last year. So this has kind of been my first Christmas that was really clean and clear for quite a few years. It was quite because last year was only about I wasn't quite 2 weeks clean. And anybody that's been down this path knows that first 2 weeks is first month maybe, I guess it was about a month before really all the clouds sort of separate and you start thinking clearly again, and you start being very, very happy about where you are, because it can take you in a heartbeat, and I want people to know that. It's a terrible thing. I don't know. I don't even know how to stop it. It's a freight train that just doesn't seem to be able to stop it. But there's things like this, like what you're doing, Daniel, that is just absolutely, the platform that you're giving people is amazing. Like this
Thank
is for us to be able to get out there and talk. And my poor sister sitting over on the couch here going, you got this, you're all right.
I was going to ask you who's sitting over there. Why don't you come on the screen and wave, say hello? Family's important. Family's important.
And then there's my dog back there.
See the dog? Yeah, I see the dog.
Yeah, see the dog.
Hello.
Yeah. My sister Sheila.
Thank you for being here. Hi, Sheila. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
I never stopped loving this guy because that's my brother.
Mm-hmm.
We went through a whole bunch, and I'm just glad he's alive and with us. We had a great Christmas. It's been a hard roll, but I think he's got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we just support each other. I'm going to be 30 years sober, so we just know all about it.
Awesome.
I can't just thank him. I'm so proud of him because I know how hard he works every day. Because it's not easy to live with me, but he just keeps going.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good bro, and I'm very proud of him, and so is all our family, and his support is huge.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to go back and sit on the couch and tape the rest of this. And he's got this. He just needs to pull him up.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah,
Merry
you're
Christmas,
welcome.
everybody.
This
Thanks
is all
for that.
recorded too, so you don't need to worry about recording it. Yeah, we can send you. Yeah.
Just enjoy it.
Yeah. And speaking of support, it's I often say when I'm writing anything to anybody or trying to make a post of anything or answer anybody that's on some of the groups that I'm in, is that we don't like. We're all looking for the door, and sometimes we don't find the right door for a while, but don't give up on them.
No, never.
Because they're out there and they're trying to find the door too. I was fortunate that I found the door and it was still open. And a lot of people don't even realize, like when she mentioned support, it was just like they were all waiting for me just to come back from that life that I was living. Like it was not a life that anybody really, it's not like we wake up and say one day, oh, well, I think I'm going to be an addict. That's not how it happens. Right. And everybody that's been through it knows that. And I wish that people, like, I wish I knew more about what was out there at the time. My biggest fear was dope sickness. And after, I don't know, it was about 6 or 7 days of laying in the basement here, and my sister just kept me dry. She knew that's all I couldn't move. You're pretty much, your body is just not capable of doing anything that you wanted to do. So she kept me clean. She kept me dry. She made sure that I stayed warm. And once that initial, 7 or 8 days is over, life begins again. And that's, it surprises me every time I think about it. That was my biggest fear. All those years, I wasn't scared of the cops that chased me. I wasn't scared of anything else that was happening to me. I was scared of being dope sick. And that's a big fear for people. I don't know if I wish there was a magic way of getting out of it, but there isn't. We all have to suffer. That's just what happens. That's what we bring on to ourselves, and that's what we have to go through. And then once once you start thinking clearly again, and things start, you find that life isn't easy, but it's a life. Oh gosh! And for so many people in North America, I think there are over 100,000 already down in the States. I think at the beginning of December, there were already over 100,000 people dying to opioid addiction and abuse and these drugs that are on the streets. I mean, they're tainting everything. Like this, the stuff that took me out, it was fentanyl, and it something I never thought I would ever do because I did see the dangers in it. And then when I started doing it, I thought, well, I'm not a smart guy. I mean, I can be respectful of it. I can make sure that I don't, do too much, or don't, just step on the wrong landmine. And I did. And it was only a matter of a couple of grains. And that was that. The person that had driven me, I was driving around with that, they said, you didn't even exhale when your head dropped. And she knew that I was in trouble. So I got very lucky. Like, if I'm 2 or 3 or 4 minutes further away from the hospital, maybe that doesn't happen, right? And we were just happened to be right in the neighborhood there because I was going to go to detox that day, and I thought, well, I can't take this, so I did it, and that was the one that decided to put me on my back, and I sit and I listen to guys, because I was in detox for a while with them, and I listen to these people tell their stories, and some of them talk about dropping 6 or 7 times, and I'm thinking, wow, I dropped once, and it's that easy for me. Like, it's not easy for me, but I mean, it scared me that I wasn't going to be able to see my kids again, or my mom, or my sister, or my niece, or any of my family. I got a really big family, and they're also good to me. And it's platforms like this that are given to us that we get to say, it's not easy, you guys. And I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. This is not, when you get into recovery, the first month or so is not a walk in the park. Don't expect it to be. But I wake up to, I don't have to get on that grind. I don't have to do that thing I did every day for all those years. So it gets easier, I guess, is what I'm saying. It did. That first little bit, though, is tough. You guys gotta, if you can get past that first month, you're laughing. Like, you start working on yourself. You start figuring out what it was, because everybody looks at people on the street with such judgment and that. Yeah. And I was no different. And I did judge myself as hard or harder than most anybody else I was around. I never thought of myself as anything other than at that time, I'd look in the mirror and go, oh, worthless junkie. And that was me. And that's what I thought of myself. But there's something along the lines we have to figure out for each person. It's going to be different for everybody. There's some type of trauma that brought you to that drug. So if you can figure those things out, right? Like, I had a bunch of things happen to me. I turned 40, and of course, turning 40 wasn't that big a deal, but like, I lost a career. My family broke up. Like, my ex-wife and my wife and I broke up, and my dad passed away all in about 5 months of turning 40. So, I mean, and then it was just shortly after that I fell into different drug addictions. So, I mean, once I started figuring out that those things affected me a lot more than I even thought they did, or would admit to, I guess maybe my pride was, like, I'm not going to be taken down just simply by, this, that, and the other thing. But I mean, I lost a lot of things, and I didn't really deal with it properly. So we end up in a bad spot. And I just after I got cleaned up and started my recovery. It was just in August of um, was August this year? Yeah, it was August 21, right? I was able to go to the legislative building here, August 31st of 2021, and I met some of the most amazing people, like some of the strongest people I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
They lost just about every person that I met that day had lost either a brother, a son, an uncle, a father, a child. It was somebody's someone. Each one of those, we put up just over 1,680 crosses, I believe, and each one of those crosses, it represented somebody's someone, you know. And I think there's a real disconnect right now with the way people are, the stigma that goes along with being an addict. You know, it's like that's all it is, but it's not. Those are all somebody's someone. That the speaker that was on just before me, she mentioned something that was I thought was key, and that was that for people, in order for you guys to, for any of us, me, anybody else, in order for us to get help, we have to reach out. It's not like it doesn't just come. You know, you can't. It's not something you can order off Amazon. Okay, it's something that you have to reach out. You have to. You got to seek out the help that you need, and it's out there. I'm sure the waiting lists, like anything else, you know, unfortunately, are going to be one of the things that you're going to have to probably face, but it's there. You have to be able to want it. You have to go and you have to reach out. There's all kinds of help. Like I was fortunate. I got like all kinds of people in my family that just surrounded me and said, no, you're not, you know, like you've got this, you can do this, you know. And I got to mend some relationships that were like not necessarily broken, but just lost due to what I was doing and not being able, like, I couldn't bring myself around to a lot of things, you know. Like you look at yourself differently, you look at situations differently. You're not going to go, you know, like there was days that I didn't even want to get out of bed, never mind going to somebody's graduation or going to somebody's, you know, if they had a wedding or anything. You just didn't want to be around those things. So, but that's part of the stigma, I guess, that we put on ourselves anyways. So the stigma is there regardless of, I really don't know. I wish there was something we could do to end that, because I think unfortunately that keeps a lot of people from reaching out and saying, hey, you know, like I need help. I'm not a superhero. This is beyond my containment. I need help. Somebody has to get me some help, and it's there. You know, things like this. This is something. This platform is just amazing. What you're doing is a fantastic thing. I watched a little bit of Clint Larchuk the other night, and I was so amazed by the production you got going on here, Daniel. You're doing something fantastic here with you, you know, and all the people that I seen. There was a lot of things, like the Mom Stop the Harm, the Prairie Harm Reduction, all the things that you guys, you know, that are involved in this, and that's all the things, you know, those are a lot of things that we need to have involved. And like I said, those people I met on August 31st were, some of them are just so near and dear to me right now still, that I wish the things that happened to them didn't, but they did. And they're powerful. These, like, I mean, they're not ones to sit down and take, you know, anybody's crap. They're willing to stand up and talk about everything that's happened. And that pain, I just cannot imagine what they face. But you know, but they're so strong. They're just some of the most amazing people. And you yourself, Daniel, I know you had I read into, I listened to your little introduction of yourself, and you had things going on, and then all of a sudden, so it's, and that's what and that's what it is for a lot of us. I mean, I had a pretty good career going. I'm at university educated. I went and took a trade. I mean, the things were, you know, things should have been just absolutely wonderful until the world of addiction hit me so hard that it consumed everything. That's not, like my mom and my sister used to blame themselves for enabling me. But if I didn't have them there to do the things that they were doing, I don't know where I may have ended up. Like, I mean, a lot of people say that enabling thing is a terrible, terrible thing for people to do, but sometimes it saves a person's life. Like, I mean, I could have been in a lot of bad positions, and I would have done anything, you know, to get that next fix. Like, I don't know what I may not have done. So fortunately, and I know they take it hard, and I've never ever said that it was anybody's fault but my own. I bet it was obviously, like, I mean, they took good care of me, and unfortunately they figured that it was too good sometimes because of what I was ending up doing with the things that I was doing. But I can't and will never blame anybody for this but me. I had, this is under my control. Like I said, you don't wake up saying you're going to be an addict, but somehow you run into that. And I don't know what the answer is, but I'm starting to seek things out. I'm starting to look into things like I'd really like to start a career in counseling, because I think I have the compassion for it. Like, I don't judge anybody, and like I said, if I did judge, I judge myself harder than and judge anybody else. So just that love and compassion, because that's what's required. No judgment.
Mm-hmm. Got some comments coming in here. Got Renee. Thank you, Renee, for the comment. Renee says, congrats for how far you've come. You have me crying over here listening to this raw truth. Drugs equal suicide. God still needs you here for a purpose. You inspire me. God bless. Thank you.
Thanks, Renee. I appreciate that.
We've got Beverly chiming in. Beverly says, Joe, thank you for sharing and being vulnerable. Your truth will be heard and will save lives. Thank you for not sugarcoating the struggle. Life truly does get better.
Absolutely. Thanks, Beverly.
Yeah. Is there anything you would like to leave us with tonight, Joe, or your sister? Is there anything either of you would like to say before we carry on here?
Just like I said, you guys, if anybody's out there and anybody needs that word, just reach. It's there. Mm-hmm. The help is there. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate everything you've done.
All right.
For letting me do this.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Take care, guys. Have a good night.
Right on.
Thanks, you
Peace.
as well. Good job, Joseph. You did okay.
Yeah, I was a little early crying there.
Right from the start.